85, I think. Um,
Hey,
five.
welcome back.
Yeah, welcome. Let me go to the channel real quick. Do this back end real quick. Give me 1 second. How's everybody doing today?
Welcome back. Thank you, Game Podcast episode. What you say? 80 what?
85.
85 for all you 80s babies.
So, this is the thinking game where we're talking about self improvement and life topics, navigating life and career. We're sharing our experiences growing up in the urban environment. In the thinking game it takes to overcome circumstances and situations as teens growing into adults. So, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about regular people problems. You always hear about rich people problems, but nobody never talk about regular people problems. Sometimes people get caught up in celebrities, but you forget about the problems that you face.
Yeah, y'all too involved in reality TV. This not your life, and they're more
Boy,
emotionally invested in what they see on TV or social media.
yeah,
Sometimes we need help or
boy,
opinion navigating just regular stuff.
yeah, for sure. So before we get into that, man, I think people probably need to hear the story of like where we grew up at, man. I know we both probably met each other with ninth grade at
Ninth
Dunbar.
grade, yes sir. English
Both
class.
both from Southwest, Little Rock, pretty much. Where we grew up in our teens anyway. Like I said, I know we kind of moved around when I was little, but that's kind of where we kind of stopped at was in Southwest. So, but yeah, man, we two guys from the inner city, urban Southwest. I'm definitely not like the Heights. It's considered the inner city.
It's
Uh,
definitely different.
yeah, and looking at two guys that overcame, we not street guys, but you grew up around and in the street, so you had to understand where you was at and overcame that, and now we're just two guys taking care of their families, man. You know what I'm saying? We trying to give insight to the youth to understand that hey, once you become an adult, it's real, man. There's a lot of stuff that you may not get taught, but you want to move out the house that you don't know yet. And that's kind of what we try to give insight on, learning about that adult life, that transition. Because a lot of people want to move out the house now. They don't realize the average apartment is insane. I mean, I think now probably the best thing going now when you're young is a studio apartment, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But you talking about getting like
And
a
that's
two
just for
bed.
you,
Yeah.
let alone getting somebody pregnant. And the thing you're stressing about regular, you think
Mm-hmm.
is given. Regular is not given. Regular is
Mm-mm.
hard. The
Yes.
median salary, just trying
Yes.
to get that is hard. Getting an
Mm-hmm.
apartment, a car notes, that ain't. You're not getting a new car with like sometimes a regular job. A
No,
car
not now. Yeah.
nowadays,
Yeah. It's
it's,
insane.
somebody's car note is somebody else's rent. You
Boy,
know,
for real.
so
So our first question is like becoming an adult. How does a person outgrow the environment that they're in?
you got to start by what you see. You know what I mean? And the environment affects that a lot. So you got to
Yes.
look outside of that. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Not the social media. Trying to see a real person, maybe a church or
Yeah.
in a community or community center, boys club, or try to get a
Mhm.
mentor and things like that because you need to see beyond what you see every day.
Yeah. I think too, we was talking about the environment, man. You know how they always say your net worth is your network or your network is your net worth. But people don't realize that when you in the inner city though, your network it ain't corporate at all. You know what I'm saying? Your network, you know what I'm saying, might be hustlers, killers, and whoever else. You could fit in that bucket, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
and even if you're not doing dirt, when you're around dirt
no.
people,
Yeah,
the,
exactly.
the dirt and the dust or the mud rub off on you. You know what I mean? You
Yeah,
can't walk through a muddy field without getting mud on your shoes.
yeah.
And it's just being like, I'm saying, hey, we're not street dudes, but we know your cousin is.
Yeah.
Your best friend in school, his cousin, his brother, your uncle. These
Mm-hmm.
people are really close to you. You know what I mean? And sometimes you're affected by their reputation in the streets sometimes. You know what I mean? You've never been in a gang, you've never did anything in life, but you were kind of associated and you witnessed a lot of stuff. You go to a lot of funerals, even though you're not doing the shooting. That's a relative, that's a cousin's funeral, that's your high school best friend.
Yeah.
So you, even though you're not in that life, you really experience a lot of those side effects of that life.
So let us know in the comments, how does a person outgrow the environment that they are in? How does a person kind of like some of the ways to outgrow it, even if you're in it? Because there's a lot of kids that grow up in the inner city that kind of don't make it out, and they not from the streets. They kind of get caught up in it because that's all they're around. And it's kind of like kids on the playground. They're gonna end up playing with each other at some point, or they're gonna end up, doing something together. So you gotta think about that as parents. Where are you raising your kids? Now people have that excuse, man. I ain't got no choice. It's kind of where we at. But you gotta ask yourself, how did I get there, and how can I improve to get out of there? You know what I'm saying? So, but going to our little subtopic on this, I got a question for you. Think of what you think. Is a person a sellout if they try to better themselves to get out?
It's a lot of pieces to that. A lot of people, when they get better, they start to look down. And they have so many rules for you when you succeed. Like, well, you're the smartest person and you grew up to be a lawyer. Now you gotta do so much giving back. Like, you're extorted by your past. Like, well, you didn't do this and you moved out the hood. You said, well, I got a better job and I make more money. I need to better myself and put my family in a more safe environment. Is that selling out or not keeping it real? You know what I mean? The answer is no. You got to do what's best for you and your family, but you're judged on this. So you got to have a really good image of yourself. Be confident with your success and not have like survivor's guilt or remorse about your success.
Right.
If you're ex-professional and go to your job at 9 to 5 and you work hard, you go to college, you're not a sellout. You just bettering yourself.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's kind of sad that makes you kind of like is that the more that you learn and improve, or you learn about something, you kind of think like, okay, why wasn't the older people, older generation before me, why didn't they learn this, or did they become comfortable with where they're at? And like, I'm not going no further than this. You know what I'm saying? So when you hear about a trust fund, how a trust fund, or people find out ways to get to wealth, or just not wealth like you're trying to be like billionaire. I'm just saying wealth so you can actually live a productive life without having to try to make ends meet all the time. You realize like, why didn't an older person that we know, or family or something like that, why didn't they learn these things, or why didn't they? And you got to think, sometimes some stuff wasn't available back then too, but you think about some of the choices that you didn't understand when you was younger, but when you got older and was able to make choices for yourself, you realize that sometimes the choices you make can stop you from doing different opportunities based on the choices that you made, when you was younger. You know what I'm saying? So, like when you talk about to be a lawyer, you be like, hey, why didn't my, so and so go be a lawyer? Well, the choices, that was made, probably gave him a felony. He probably wasn't able, to do that now. You know what I'm saying? Because of the choice he made, of that person made when they was 16. You know what I'm saying? So that's why it's important to really think about the choices that you make.
And sometimes you're so young, and especially as a minority, they're got this thing where you're not an adult, but they're going to charge you as an adult. So something you can do at 15, 16 can follow you your whole life. That's not fair, but that's the reality of things we're living in. And another thing, sometimes you're responsible for breaking that cycle. Because we can all blame, like, well, this is something I did when I was 16. So when are you going to overcome it? Because it happened. Well, my parents put me in this neighborhood. My parents messed up my credit when I was like, 12 years old, putting the phone bill in my name and then just not paying it. you know what I mean, and things like that. It's all kind of stories about setbacks in the neighborhood you grew up in, but it's got, like we talked about, the age of accountability. Like, when are you going to just stop? It's like, well, from this point, I'm going to work hard, try to, you know, pay back my debt or overcome where I grew up. Because you can't be 47 blaming all your life problems on something that happened to you when you were 18 years old. It's got to be a point where you just say, hey, I'm just going to do better day by day, starting here.
And see, that's the thing. We're talking about, like, breaking cycles, right? Before we go into this second question is, how many families or how many family members would even talk to their kids about breaking a cycle that's been happening in the family? Like, you know, if you had a long line of bank robbers in the family, say, when do they talk to their kids like, hey, don't go down this path? This has been happening too long. We need to break it. You don't even talk to your family about the problems that's in the family. You kind of find out as you get older by connecting the dots in your head, but you still don't talk to nobody about it. You just kind of realize, like, oh, wait a minute, this has been happening. This is how we got here. Like, there are parents out there that don't realize, like, their kids will start thinking, like, wait a minute, all my siblings, we got different dads. You know what I'm saying? They may not tell you that, but they're gonna start thinking that when they start getting, like, maybe high school or getting older. And then, you know, you don't want to talk about it. Don't talk to me about it. That's grown status, grown folks' business. But you don't realize you can mess around, and then that cycle is continuing. It's weird.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
weird.
your son's got several baby mothers, or
Yeah.
your daughter had several baby fathers. You know, it's like, well, you know, I had that too, and my mama had that too. That's like grandma,
yeah,
and grandma, mama, and the child have the same experience. If it's a hole or pothole or obstacle, wouldn't you tell your child, avoid that? You know, it got mama, it got daddy, avoid that. You know what I mean? Whether it's relationship, professional, I think it becomes failure becomes a rite of passage or a badge of honor. We all did jail time. It's your turn, Junior.
Yeah.
Like where we like, why they know my name when I go to jail? Like, soon as I hit, oh, you know what? There go Roscoe Jr. You know what I mean? Like,
and then if you try to do better, and then if you try to do better for yourself, they're like, oh, so you don't want to go to jail like everybody else did? You think you better than everybody now?
He gonna go, exactly. He gonna go to college and not jail. You know what I mean? This fool ain't even been to county. You know what I mean?
Oh,
when I was your age, I had been to county 3 times, and I hadn't been to prison once. And it's like, well, now I'm like, you know, so this failure is a kind of a badge of honor, you know what I mean, and things like that. And you're not like saying, hey, avoid this. Yeah. And they say little things like, hey, don't go to jail like I did, but you're preparing him to go to jail. You're teaching him the skills it requires to get him in jail. Like, you still a child like this, but you do it a little faster so you don't get caught. Well, maybe you teach him not to steal cars faster or steal cars more efficiently. Right. Like, you know, I want you to sell drugs, but I want you to sell them better than I did so you don't get caught like I did. You'll be the kingpin. They caught me, but I'm going to make you better. You know, putting your kids in risky situations, you know, as a child, you got to be accountable for, like, what your, you know, parents are teaching you. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know.
So, next question: does family upbringing shape a person's adult behavior from what they was brought up in their family and what they saw the family members doing?
Yeah, what's praised and what's condemned in a family reunion by Paul or whatever. Yeah, it could be like we braid hair, we all braid hair. You know what I mean? Then we praise that, you know, being a cosmetologist, and maybe you can get your license. You know, grandma just braided hair, and the thing, if y'all praise that, you know what I mean, they're gonna take pride. Their child is gonna take pride on learning the skill, the trade of learning how to braid. Right. You know what I mean? They're gonna want to take that further than mama did and things like that. But if it's you know, robbing people, fighting people, beating up on people, how much you can steal, how much you can cheat at cars, if that's praised in your family, a child and an adult is gonna internalize that even when they grow up, you know what I mean?
Right.
I can't wait to get to the family reunion to play that spades tournament, or I can't wait to, show them the tattoos I got, or the murders I committed, or how much dope I moved. If that's praised, that's what they're gonna do in their little, family dynamic.
Yeah, I think there's like a prism too, right? There's like a low extreme, high extreme. Then it's the stuff in the middle that kind of get lost in the shuffle, right?
Yes,
high extreme stuff, right? Murder, drug, killing somebody. You know what I'm saying? Low extreme, poverty, being almost like homeless, like either borderline homeless or homeless. Then it's the stuff in the middle where you working a job, you like productive, but the womanize. You can't be with one woman. You like infidel. I don't say infidel, but you can't be with one woman. Like
infidelity.
Infidelity. You know what I'm saying? Like most young dudes go through that infidelity.
Well, my daddy didn't do it, and being a player was praised. Oh man, you just like your uncle. Your uncle Big J, you doing this and doing that. You got them all, fam. You know what I mean? So you view women as like notches on your belt. You know what I mean?
And then I heard Tyrese say, I think it's on Joe Budden podcast. He said that how can a man really be a successful husband if he was never taught that or grew up in a household where he grew up in a marriage household? You pretty much learning on the fly, which you pretty much are, because I had to do that. Still doing that, learning on the fly. You know what I'm saying? Being married.
But you use God as a resource.
Yeah, for sure.
And
you have to be around the right system. If you can find the right people to be around, definitely helps.
And you took accountability. You stopped it. Hey, I didn't have a dad to show me this and that about adulthood and marriage and things like that. But you said, hey, I'm going to be better, and my dad took you to level 2. I'm going to try to take you beyond that, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to hopefully make it to 10. And you took that, you stopped it, and you said, this is what I'm going to do for me. I'm going to set up my own standard because I didn't have one. And that takes a strong man, it takes a strong anybody to be self-taught anything, especially a valuable, important life skill like that.
Yeah.
But people don't think that's important when they are judging success. Well, as long as I graduate from college, I don't care how I treat my wife, my son, as long as I make this amount of money, and then it's the opposite extreme. I'm a good husband, I'm gonna do this, but there's no growth in education, no growth in career, but you're a good man or a good woman, but you're not in self-improving spiritually, mentally, physically, so.
So before we move to the next question, I'm gonna shout out my wife Ashley. She told me this the other day. Tim, you probably gonna laugh when you hear this, bro. She said that when we first got married, everything was more your way. But she said now that we've been married for like 11 years, going on 11 years. She said that now you can see the whole picture and understand, but it still got to make sense to you at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And I told her that when you grow up in Southwest and dealing with people, you have to do things your way, because I'm not fit to go to jail. I'm not fit to put myself in harm's way. And for a person to do something random, and that's what we're facing now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you got to be dominant. You just got to be dominant like that, or you're gonna, end up in a situation where you in the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I got selected for jury duty. Before we go into the next question, too, man. 6 months, bro. They see you from January to like April or something like that. It's crazy. First time ever being in the courtroom, bro. I was like,
congratulations.
No, congratulations.
Guess what? But that's a good first time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of people first time is a lot different than that. And like I say, it's being your friend for a couple decades. And I can see what she's saying, but I think you're the same now. I think you just learn to present things better.
Yeah, I definitely
personally
agree with that.
Because you had the need early on in your marriage. Well, I don't need to explain this. You know what I mean? I'm doing this for this, and you explain it your way. Maybe they can be a little harsh.
Super hard. Yeah.
So, well, the truth is the truth. You know what I mean? Well, you could have presented it a little bit better, and you understand her more, and you learn how to talk in her tone, in her language, and use analogies and parables to really get her to understand you. And she kind of thinks like that too. So she's not going to go along with something that she doesn't understand herself either. You know what I mean? So she's like, and she's gotten more of her voice, now that I've noticed from the outside with him, and she knows how to approach him with her objections.
I think too, like Tyrese was saying, I think that's something I had to learn is how to talk to a woman, as far as articulating my thoughts and what my plan is and stuff like that. Because if you don't see that growing up, you're not gonna know that. And most dudes, you're not taught how to deal with a woman properly if you grew up in a single parent household. You want to do things your way when you become, dealing with people on your own, like my mom not gonna teach me how to sell a girl dream. That's something I deal on my own, so she's not gonna tell you, hey son, if you learn how to sell dreams, you'll be optimal when you're in your 20s, she ain't gonna do that, what I'm saying? So the third question is, does loneliness affect a person's decision-making process?
For sure, yeah. And I was piggyback on the next thing you said. Like even with me and my communication evolving over the course of my marriage, I used to be like really harsh, like pros, cons. If it don't make sense, it don't make sense. If the scales don't even out, that's it. You know what I mean? And I noticed how I treated and talked to people outside, even when I learned to speak her language, because I'm doing stuff on my own time. And I I would have a surprise. I would be working on a plan. She don't know the plan. And then all of a sudden I got success. I'm like, when did you start doing that? I was working on that. I didn't know it was going to work. So I didn't tell you I was trying to work on this. You know what I mean? Well, like you did a lot of work by yourself. I would have liked to, help you or been in on it. You know what I mean? I'll take the blessing, but I would have liked more communication. So I started communicating on the things I was trying, even though it was kind of made me feel a little kind of vulnerable.
It felt sketchy at best. So you don't want to get included on it.
Like if you're playing spades, you know what I mean? You got, 2 and 3 possibles. I don't want to tell her about the possibles.
Right.
And then I come out with 5 books and like, man, you told me you had 2. I was like, well, I pulled it off. And you think in my mind, I think she would be happy with the extra books. But if she would have known, she would have felt more confident in her hand if she know I had strong possibles in mine. So she would have kind of walked differently. And I started to understand that. And I'm always doing stuff like on my time. But when you're a team, you got to let the person know about your timeline.
Yeah, for sure.
If they think you're neglecting them and you're not listening. Right. But I was going to do that. That's third on my list. I got other important things I'm going to do or things I need to do for myself, and they feel ignored. So you got to communicate that as well. And your next topic was this loneliness affect your decision making, and I think that's of course in men and women. Emotional needs are just as important as financial needs or physical needs. Like you need food, you need stuff like that. Some people really need those emotional things. Sex drives some people. That's got an entertainment budget on their check. I'm going to spend 30% of my income in pursuit of courtship, sex, or whatever that they may be. Just trying to appease this loneliness. And that's a drug you just really can't.
Man, no.
You need that fix, you need that fix. Some people prioritize that very high, what I mean?
Most dudes in their 20s, you know what I'm saying? Like, they
I'm going to go out, I'm going to pay $50 to get in the club, and then I'm going to spend $100 on courtship. Not one person just it's like gambling, you know what I mean? Playing roulette, a black 23, a red 44, you know what I mean? They just got to put more of the chips out.
I think most dudes, I'm going to say like 80% of men, probably you're not taught, why it's important to wait until you're married to have sex. Most times you're not taught that, you know what I'm saying? And if you're not taught that, most times your mind naturally goes there, you know what I'm saying? But if you really teach the importance of why it's important to wait until you're married, because like say when kids get involved, now you setting yourself back. You can't take on opportunities that you probably could have took on if you didn't have any kids.
And then people say, what's wrong with sex? What's the consequence of sex? You can have sex 3 times and have 3 kids. Just 3 times.
You can have something that you can't get rid of. You can have sex once.
That too. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
5 minutes a pop. You know what I mean? You got 2 kids and something you can't get rid of. You know. And that's just 3 times, you know what I mean? And, what Mike is saying, avoid those dangers, avoid the temptation, because sometimes once you get it, some people can't regulate. So I know some people who can smoke weed, 1 blunt a week, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's the same thing with sex. Some people have sex, you know what I mean? That's, if I have it, I don't. And then some people, it's all consuming. Yeah. They need to see it on TV. They need to watch it on their phone. They need to talk about it with their exes.
It's like Pandora's box. Once you open it, you can't close it. You know what I'm saying? It's just done. Kind of like a drug. But I think thing too is even if you have sex, you escape the disease, you have a kid, the kid is healthy, just being a single parent and having a kid, you cut down opportunities that you can't do. Like you can't take 4 classes a semester now when you have a kid and you're a single parent. You can't do it. Maybe 2 if you got the child care, if you can afford it. But now you have to get a job. You know what I'm saying? You have to get a full-time job. It's not even a question. For a guy, you have a kid, you get on child support. You got to get a job. They're gonna take your check, or you're gonna go to jail. I think now they can even take your license now. If you have
now you can't drive.
Yeah, you know what I'm
saying? And we're not saying the stuff is impossible.
No.
Some of us can't even make it through 4 classes without a kid.
Yeah.
3 classes for some of y'all.
Yeah.
Struggling in college with no kids, no job, and you're still struggling. Boy. So if you're one of those type of people, imagine having a kid where you have to work a full-time job. That kids have to be taken care of. Some of us ain't got parents that's willing to be full-time grandparents.
Yeah.
So you sometimes the decisions you make things difficult. Yes, our kids a blessing. Yes, I love mine. You know what I mean? I miss them on nights I don't have.
Yeah.
But it's more responsibility. Yeah. It's just those stuff that got to be done. Like as a man, when I was younger, I could live anywhere. You can put me in the worst projects. As long as I got a lock on my door and I'm on the 2nd floor, I don't care. You know what I mean? I can live in the worst neighborhood, you know what I mean? As long as it ain't got roaches. And pay my rent, go to work. That's all I need. Gas money.
Right.
Enough to cover my rent, and I'm going to work. You know what I mean? But when I got a kid, it got to be a safe environment, clean environment, nice neighborhood. You know what I mean? Because I don't want him exposed to some of the stuff I was exposed to.
And here's another thing too, right? When you think about loneliness, right? Sometimes it does affect your decision making because when you're with somebody, the discipline sometimes is a little bit better. Depends on
accountability.
Yeah, accountability. And if you're lonely, you have to ask yourself, why am I lonely? Is it my attitude? You hear people say, oh man, all men are dogs. No. You're attracting all those men that you're saying are dogs, A person is not going to dog you out unless you allow them to. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen it happen unless you allow them to. And then a lot of people don't want to pay the price it takes to be with another person. There's a price you have to pay. You can't do everything your way when you're in a relationship with somebody. It just don't work out like that.
Yeah, and even as the man, as the leader.
Yeah, for sure.
You're in charge, but you're
also serving at the same time. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, we're going to go into our next segment is overcoming the odds as an adult. What disadvantages does a person have to overcome living in the inner city?
accessibility to resources, seeing examples of people really be successful. It's hard to stay. It's easy to stay where you are when the most successful person that you know and that you see that has a car that you want is, making minimum wage, or the rock star of the community that you live in makes $30,000. That's your ceiling. Like, I wish I can be like him. He goes to work every day, and then the bad influences are there. So when you see somebody that looks like the things you see on social media and TV, they're drug dealers or they're doing something, robbing banks or negative stuff. So you have all kind of negative examples, not a lot of positive. You're living in poverty. Being a sausages where you're meat for everybody to eat at dinner, time. So you're just you're living in desperation.
Yeah.
So anything you can do to get out of there is fair game.
Yep. So, and another thing I was thinking about too, right? Exposure, right? We're talking about I think you just hitting on there a little bit. Exposure. You think about like most of the companies or the jobs that's in Southwest. A lot of those jobs are just like Walmart. They're labor jobs, labor intensive jobs. Walmart's taking them probably the majority of Amazon, people like that. But you see them complaining on Facebook how it sucks to work there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fast food places.
Yeah, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, we don't have no Whole Foods in Southwest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You got a Starbucks though.
Yeah, barely. Yeah, right there by the freeway. Not inside of Southwest. It's right there by the state police department.
The safest place to be. Like, people be doing all their Facebook marketplace deals in the parking lot.
Yeah, and I bet you most people, if you did a poll, only go to the fast food places when they don't have time, or they probably on the way home. But most people probably go out to Bryant, probably Chenal or downtown to get something to eat, then come back home to Southwest, bro. Because you get tired. I mean, if you grew up in Southwest, you ate McDonald's, you ate Wendy's, you ate all the fast food places. That's all that's there. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think it's a sit-down restaurant. I mean, we got Sims.
Sims, they rebuilt it. They burned down. They
Just like.
And I heard they had bad customer service. You know what I'm saying? I heard had somebody there cuss you out, man. You know what I'm saying? Church.
Can I get some extra sauce?
And then this the thing too. The disadvantage, you go to these restaurants, the customer service sucks sometimes, man. Well, get smart with you in the drive-thru. You know what I'm saying?
I always have good experiences at Sims myself. You know what I mean? So I appreciate.
Man. I should go there, man. It's always a dude to walk out, see who ordering the food. Then it's like, well, give him the gristle. You don't need the meat. Give him the gristle. Put a lot of sauce on it. Put some sugar in it. Make it sweet. You're like, man, I don't want this stuff. Then you go to churches. We ain't got no corn. We ain't got no peppers. We ain't got no legs. All we got is thighs and breasts. So what you want? I'm talking about, they literally told us that before at churches, bro.
Man, I went to churches. They said we ain't got no chicken. Like, what y'all got?
What y'all got, man?
Turn the sign off. It's a wrap.
Hey,
they told about no chicken. They told about purchase for chicken.
They told my wife the other day, you get the it's like a 2-piece or something. It's supposed to come with a pepper. She said, "Can I get a pepper?" He said, "We ain't got no pepper." Well, can I get like a biscuit? Yeah. My manager said we can't substitute a biscuit for it. They had an answer for everything.
Now, y'all, you can't get it. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh man.
I don't want anything. Well, give me my money back for the pepper. Like, refund me 25 cents. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And then, like, say the jobs, man, are not paying that much. Like in Southwest, like even if you work at the state police department, I mean, unless you high up on the scale, man, the average job. What do you think the average job in Southwest, if you did, maybe what, 35, 40, maybe 30, 35, somewhere in there? Probably 35.
Yeah, and that's a good, you know what I mean, that situation, you know what I mean, and you'll feel pretty good about that while living in that area. I remember, if I was a teenager in the 90s or something like that, early 2000s, if I was making 35, at 25, like that, I'll be happy. But stuff is going up. gas,
exactly.
you know what I mean? Potato chips, well, that's when you could get, for $4 a bag of chips, you know what
Yeah,
I
I
mean?
remember when we was in 10th grade, living in Southwest, gas just started being $1, like 99 cents or $1 when we was in 10th grade.
Yeah, I can do a lot with 35.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You know
Yeah,
what I
if you
mean?
could
With
pay your
gas,
gas tank up with $20, you probably be over the gas. Like $10, $15, you riding for the whole day. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, for
so,
sure.
I mean, you can do a lot there, but time to change them,
Oh yeah, for sure.
Little Debbie cakes, you know what I mean? They trying to charge me $1. You know what I mean? I remember these was 25 cents. And they getting smaller, but they get more expensive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I guess that's their way of telling us we need to lose weight. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean?
The only thing really, if it's there, is the recreation center. But I mean, if your parents can't afford to send you there, though, I mean, you're not going to the recreation center. That's only for like a select few of kids who has the money to do that. So a lot of kids just kind of just left to their own, vices or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Thank God. With us, we lived right next to a Boys and Girls Club. Shout out to Dalton Weststone.
Yeah.
But we got on a scholarship to go there. You know what I mean?
I lived on Chico. Yeah, I didn't. I worked in high school. I think that's what kept me out of a lot of trouble, though. I worked.
I mean, that was even before high school. You know what I mean? Like, your parents have to have a place for you to go to for the summer to get to learn about sports, leadership. You know what I mean? Being around in a positive atmosphere.
No, they can't
not
afford
just
it.
sitting on the playground of the projects.
No, they can't afford it.
That costs money, you know what I mean? Unless you could read and
but I'm saying it costs gas. It costs gas to take you to the sports. And then they gotta have time. Like my mom, man, she worked 2 jobs, most of the time, when we was younger. So it's just the time cost and the logistical cost, man. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, when I went to 9th grade, the guy she was dating at the time, he had that gas station BP. I started working there like the summer of 9th grade, going to 10th grade. So that was my education on how to deal with people. You know what I'm saying? It's my first education. But yeah, man, that disadvantage is crazy because you don't have a lot of options. People don't realize that. They be saying their kids can't read, but they're not reading at a high rate. But when you stay in a single parent household, one parent can only do so much before they start wearing down. You know what I'm saying? Versus in the 2-parent household where you can kind of piggyback off each other as far as enforcing homework, enforcing, things like that. A lot of times, go ahead.
You got to choose. Like,
yeah,
I can be here with my kids, or I can pay the rent so they can have a roof over their head.
Right.
And I can go to this other job so I can feed them.
Right.
Feed them and clothe them. You know what I mean? And it's not right. I don't have the answers. But you send them to school, and a lot of parents rely on the teachers to teach their kid how to read, and they're not reading to them at night, even when they're little children. So they develop these bad study habits due to poverty, and they saying pick yourself up by your bootstraps. So you get an extra job, or you got a job and you go to school, but your child's school is suffering while you're trying to get in school to provide better life, pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. Something's going to get left by the wayside.
For sure, always. Yeah, you can cover your eyes, your mouth, and your ears, but you can't cover.
Yeah, so some got left exposed.
So here's another question about the disadvantages. Can you be taught by both parents and still put yourself in a disadvantage?
Oh yes, for sure. I've seen that. Some people crave the dysfunction. You know what I mean? Some they wish they was brought up in the trenches. You know what I mean? You grew up in Otter Creek.
That's true, man.
Yeah.
Boy.
You grew up in the Heights. You sneaking off. You know what I mean? You sneaking off to the East End, the South End. You know what I mean? Granite Mountain, because you want that. You know what I mean? You want that struggle. I mean, there's evidence by some famous athletes. They want to be in the street. They want to be in that street life. They want to have to carry guns. I know that sounded weird, but that's not your life. Just be a millionaire. Be regular. Be okay. You know what I mean? Go to school. You got both parents. You know what I mean? I know some people who had 6-figure incomes, parents. You know what I mean? And they still out there trying to bang.
Boy, for real.
Because that's what me, like, famous rapper and his son, like, well, I grew up with my grandma house. You know what I mean? That's me. You know what I mean? Take me to bed.
I stand on business.
You know what I mean? They standing on it. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that.
Boy.
So, sometimes generational wealth won't help some people. They want to revert back. Daddy, I want to do what you did to get the generational wealth, but you don't have to do that.
No, I think they want the rep. I think they want the rep, like that. The reputation is worth more than the money to some people. You know what I'm saying? They want to be known in the streets. Like when you walk to the store, yo, man, that's King right there, man. That's Lil King, man. Much respect. They want that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? They want the glory.
Yeah, and guess what? And everybody with the respect want the money.
Yeah, or they don't want the glory no more. Once you do 20 years fair time, you don't care about the glory no more.
You're trying to get away from the glory hole. You know what I mean? So,
you know what I'm saying?
In this situation, it's just, I don't know. It's just people want what they want.
Think about the middle part of the spectrum that's not so extreme, right? You think about genetics, or your parents, take care of your health, make sure you do this, do that, and you don't do it. Next thing you know, you 320. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've personally seen that with women and men.
Yeah, for sure.
Was like 180 in their 30s, maybe 150 when they turned 30, turned 40, 400 pounds.
Man,
woman, women's hormones are different. You're 25, you have one baby, and at 35, you're 300 to 600 pounds.
Man.
And you see your mom got a bad shape. Your dad has a bad shape. Instead of saying, hey, I don't want to let you like that, you still eating this ridiculous portion size. Well, I paid for the food. Just because you can pay for Red Lobster every day, the Ultimate Seafood Feast every day, don't mean you should eat it.
Yeah, that's true.
I can afford McDonald's, Rally, Starbucks, Chick-fil-A every day. That doesn't mean you should eat it.
Exactly.
And it's like, when is enough? It's like crack. When is enough? When are you going to say, hey, I'm 20 pounds overweight, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, I need to slow down. I need to work out. You don't work out. 60, 70, 80, 100. You know what I mean? I struggle with my weight, as well. You know what I mean? So I'm not the thinnest person and the most fit. I had 1.5 strokes, like 2 strokes, you know what I mean? So I had to take my health more seriously. Trying to eat right, monitoring my sugar and things like that, So, I don't look like what I've been through, but I've been through a lot. I've been dragged through the mud. But you gotta look at stuff like that. Your environment, diet, your actions. If you're not disciplined in one area, or you're too disciplined in one area and not disciplined at all in another, just got to be careful out there. So much stuff you got to worry about. I guess I lost my other host. Give me 1 second. I need to use more stuff to get my head shining.
My fault, bro. It froze up, man. Like a mud.
I was like, boop, officer down. I was like, man.
Yeah, one man show. You can keep going though.
No. I was talking about my health battles and myself, you know what I mean? And I don't really look what I've been through. And I had, 2 strokes, blood pressure problems. You gotta find the root cause of what's actually going on with you, mentally, physically, and spiritually. You know what I mean? You struggling with loneliness, depression. Get out of those kind of things. Talk to somebody, preferably a professional.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you need a personal trainer for motivation, it's so many resources online. Doing just sit-ups or push-ups, do 10 push-ups a day. Challenge yourself. I'm challenging all of our viewers to get down on the floor. Do 10 push-ups a day. Do something. Run in place. Get a jump rope. Jump rope for 30 seconds a day. Just do something. Try to get active.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I think they're almost done with the new school. I'm hoping they open the field back up, man, for public use. They closed down the football field at McClellan, but now that they're almost done with the school, though, I'm hoping that they open that back up.
But is that what's that, Southwest High?
Yeah, it's gonna be that's not Southwest High. The other one, the new one, it's gonna be like the new Cloverdale, I think.
I heard the principal Southwest High quit already.
Oh, for real? Oh,
yeah, wow. It's like man, it's like what the kids doing to them.
Man, you gotta think you put kids from J. Fair and McClellan in the same building. I mean,
yeah, that's
it's like putting lions and tigers in the same cage and expecting them to play, especially them behave. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, and that's the thing too. We you talking about like health, and you talking about like say family cycles and stuff like that, and and I think they did a study one time. I can't remember where I saw that, but I think they were saying that sometimes most of the problem people be from both parent households, though. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, sometimes you create your own dysfunction.
Yeah, that's true.
And you crave to be normal. So if the median, the normal is dysfunction, and you don't have that, you don't have a story to tell. We like a story with drama in there. Well, what happened to you when you got home? I got home. I hugged my mom. I hugged my dad, kissed my mom.
Yeah.
They gave me a 4-course meal. We did homework. Oh man, my dad punched me in the face, and I got bit by a dog. Like your normal story ain't nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Your experiences aren't, up to par. So you kind of have to add the drama, and then adding the drama, you want the drama to be true.
Trump everybody's story, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the one upper, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My son will be doing that too. He'll add stuff to his story, trying to be a better storyteller. So and things like that. I was like, well, son, I was with you. I don't think that happened. You know what I mean? So, but you got to let them be great on and figure out their personalities themselves. You know what I mean? But kind of direct them like, well, this story really happened. Tell them about that. Tell them about when you went over your uncle's house. That's a good story. Because listening to kids tell stories, like they don't get to the point. They just be talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd be
like watching VH1 storytellers, man. Remember that? Oh man. The next question is, how does a person unlearn bad habits after getting out the inner city?
That's like trust issues. You know what I mean? You get out of a bad relationship, but those old instincts there. If you see a sign that looks like a duck, quack like a duck, you ain't gonna take a chance. You shooting that duck. And you gotta it takes years of training, conditioning, code switching, also to untrain those reactions and those perceptions or prejudgments of people.
Right. And I think you have to understand what's a bad habit, what's a good habit. Sometimes some people think something is a bad habit, but it may be a good habit in the corporate world. I think for me, learning how to let stuff go, man, where is it? Not holding grudges and stuff. I think when I was younger, I think I kind of felt that affecting my health is holding on to stuff. Like people gonna be who they are, you know what I'm saying? If a person gonna be, like I say, a manipulator, you can't spend time trying to convince him that he's a manipulator. Sometimes people know that they are, but they don't want to say it out loud, but they do all the actions of it. You know what I'm saying? Or, You trying to tell this person, dude, you a tiger. You got stripes. You got claws.
No, man, you tripping.
You know what I'm saying? And even yourself, knowing about
just lines.
Yeah, even knowing about yourself, like what are some of the habits that you can unlearn to get better? I think that's one thing, when you turn your life around, is that you can't take those habits with you. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I had to take the skills that I learned, but convert it into the corporate world, like selling dreams. How do I convert that into the corporate world? Oh, I could be better in interviews. I didn't even understand I was selling a dream is almost like an interview. When you're talking to a girl, you interview.
So you're not selling dreams, you're selling yourself now.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you still got sales depending on what interview you go to. They may be looking for, the world greatest showman. Sometimes you got to show them I could be the world greatest showman. Whatever you need.
What you need, got it. But
bad habits like being on time, like that's something that you really want to learn how to do, especially as you move up in the corporate world. You really want to be on time. You know what I'm saying? For sure.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I struggle with this, you know what I mean? But being on time is a cheat code, you know what I mean? You can really scope out the environment instead of trying to catch up when you get there. You know what I mean? So if you are good at thinking on the fly, you might think being right on time is good because it plays to your strengths.
Mm-hmm.
But if you got that, it's like Batman with prep time. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can prepare for your opponents, your enemies or your allies. You can make a last minute adjustment. But you got to get up to the line to look at the defense, you know what I mean, first. And just not making quick reads, even though you're good at that.
Yeah.
I notice a lot of people dude don't play. He ain't the one to play with. She don't play. She's not the one to play with. They'll go off on you quick, and you wear that as a badge of honor. But people are really seeing you as combative, confrontational, unapproachable.
Yeah.
But you still think that make you an OG. And I see a lot of women in leadership who try to lead with fear. And that makes you confrontational. And it's really, when you come at people that hard, they could say something to you that you can take personal, and you were coming from a high place at first, but then they reacted how you didn't expect, and now you're reacting emotionally. Now you're the leader, but you're losing control in the situation and the environment with that I don't play. So you're giving people anxiety before you even address them. So they're riled up.
Right.
Already anticipating what you're going to say, how you're going to look. When she give you that look, you know you in trouble. I'm a grown man or I'm a grown woman. Ain't nobody going to looking at me a certain way in my job. So they're already defensive. And you wonder why every time you come in a meeting with somebody, they're already on guard. They're already ready to bite back. So those things you think is something to be proud of, is really building a negative reputation for yourself.
Yes, and that's the thing I was going to, you just took it right out of my mouth. I think growing up in the inner city, learning that you got to take what comes with it. If you want to rule with an iron fist, you got to take that. People probably not going to rock with you like that. People don't want to fool with you like that. They just come with the package of ruling.
They're going to gather up to gang up to beat you.
Yeah, for sure. It's gonna happen.
Pencil whip you.
It's people that kill people out of fear. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he run up on pow, shot. Not because they was trained killers. They just shot you out of fear. You know what I'm saying? That happens.
Getting shot out of fear. People get stronger with fear sometimes. You think it's an easy win, smaller opponent, but they got fear from when they was 3 years old, balled up in their fists, and they just swing for the fences, and you weren't even going to attack them, but they heard about your reputation, and it's corporate and street. If you're known as a shooter, you better know people know that. So they're going to be trying to, it's a simple situation. You're not going to shoot them, but you're known to be a shooter. So they're going to be ready for you. If you're known to fire people, known to have an attitude and be professional, be unprofessional with them, boop. Or sometimes even with men being overly sexual with the jokes or things like that.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks it's funny until that one person doesn't.
Boy, for real.
And you two lose and somebody records you because they know they got their phones ready because they know you're gonna say something.
Yep, exactly. Boom.
And everybody's cool with your jokes, but it's that one person, and then you get fired for a joke.
Boy, a joke. Yep. Happens, man. For real.
So you gotta self-regulate.
Yeah, our next question is knowing people and building relationships important in the corporate space? This is our corporate topic section. What do you think about that?
Yes, I think it is important. Yeah. You can do without it. Yes, you can do. You can live without it. You can do it on your own, no networking, your own hard work. Right. But if something could help me even 3% without me putting forth a lot of effort, I can just speak to you or say what's up to you. Hey, can I do something for you? I noticed your email was incomplete or you weren't meeting the deadline. I can help you with that. I mean, I'm good at that. You know they're good at another thing. You know what I mean? Help me help you is something that wouldn't take a lot of effort out of me, but it can help you and it can make me an ally. You gotta kind of do that. Because nobody ever did anything by themselves. The president is the man, but the president don't do nothing by itself about it. It's checks and balances. You got Congress, you got the House, you got all these pieces. So knowing how they work and knowing the people that you need to make your job easier is nothing but a resource.
Yeah, what I would say is it's like a two-sided coin, right? It's like you can go at it alone, but your skill has to be astronomical. I mean, you gotta be able to really hold it down, like wherever you work, whatever field you're going into. And if you know people, you may not have to be astronomical. You could be kind of that from mediocre to kind of expert level, and they'll show you the rest. They bring you in on the team. You know what I'm saying? I didn't understand.
Everybody can't be LeBron.
But when you come in, when you're by yourself, though, you got to make sure that all bases are covered. Versus you may get a little bit of leeway if you know somebody, because they bring you in a circle. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that in the corporate space many times. And then I didn't understand when we was younger why people did the fraternities and stuff and sororities, but a lot of times they do that for their corporate, because a lot of people kind of network together. It's like one big network, I guess. Yeah. Or you can go it alone and be like Wolverine. You know what I'm saying? Walk through the forest with the claws in your hand. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta be Wolverine was cold, man. I mean, it's a different way of moving. You know what I'm saying? And either way works. You got to find out what works for you, and you got to be able to, sometimes you got to do a dual, depending on what situation, environment you in. I know when I worked at the ISP place, it was so treacherous. It was so, backstabbing and all that stuff. I had to be Wolverine there. I had to be Rambo. You know what I'm saying? And I'm fine with that because I understand when you're Rambo, you don't hang out with everybody. You're doing like a lot of solo stuff. You know what I'm saying?
And you can't be.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, and Rambo can't betray himself. You know what I mean? You can't be betrayed by yourself. You know what I mean? And that's another thing you mentioned. Fraternity. It's playing the long game, and it's an investment on your career because it looks at the time you're 20, 22, 18, 19. Looks like a lot of guys dancing and the girls are stepping and they calling. It looks like a gang. They're wearing their gang colors, their letters. These people are going to help me. But in 4 or 5 years, 10, 15 years, they're your judges, your lawyers, your congressmen, and you're linked in with them. It's not a thing where it's an investment that you're looking towards your future. It's maybe immature now. You're not that person now. You're an introvert.
Yeah.
But as an introvert, I think that's a really good path to take to invest in those group of successfully minded people. So your mindset changes when you get older. So.
Yeah. So I got something for you. This is how I think about it section. Here's one. When you give somebody advice based on your experience that goes against what they want to do and then they get offended. Have you ever had that ever happen to you before?
Yes. A lot of people, you got to know when to insert your opinion, even though they're telling you a situation that you lived through quite similarly. Sometimes you just got to offer it and let them kind of eat the fruit from you, because they're feel offended because you offered a solution and you're just trying to help. And you have intimate knowledge of what they're talking about, and you want to show them that you understand by telling them the related story or related experience. But some people really take that as an insult. I want you to just listen. But if I got the answer to the question or answer to the test you're taking, and I want to help you, I want to give you that. So sometimes I just say, hey, I had a really similar experience to what you're talking about. When you want to hear about it, I'll tell you. But go on with your story. You know what I mean? I'm listening. I'm here for you. You know what I mean? If they want to hear about your similar experience, they can come back and check. I was like, because I've done that myself. Go on with my story. Hey, what happened with you? You said you were in similar experience. What happened to you when you bought that car? What happened to you when you took that interview? What happened to you when your heart was broken? And they'll ask you, but give them that space to do so, even though you got their answer, you know what I mean? So
I think sometimes people, I think it's based on your personality too, but I think sometimes people know that you've been through it and they know that you came out of it, but they don't want to put the same amount of work that you put in probably. Or I know, like I said, I probably got more of a Rambo Batman kind of personality. So my solution may not be for you because we don't think the same, we don't operate the same. You may ask me about some stuff, and I'd be like, "Well, if you didn't worry about the perception, I don't think it'll be that big of a problem." No, you don't understand. You don't know how people look at people, and but and that's the thing. Like everybody different. I had to learn that. Coming up, because I remember when I was younger, dudes, tell me about girls, and I'd be like, "Listen, man, you probably not gonna know this girl in the next 10 years, bro." So I think, he kind of getting caught up in some stuff that is not gonna matter in 10 years. Right now, you making it like it's your life. But I promise you, probably not gonna know this person in 10 years. You know what I'm saying? They probably not gonna know you either. All the way in the multiverse. It's gonna be all the way in the multiverse somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a really good point. Some people think you gotta have standards, boundaries.
Yeah.
This relationship, friendship, network, whatever, this boss, this job isn't worth my whatever your boundary is, your self-respect, your time with your family, your money, your soul even. So you gotta let some stuff go, because I'm not even gonna think about this job at Jiffy Lube. And in 10 years, in 5 years, I will never go back to this place. Sometimes you will never go back to this city. I will never be in this city again.
Right, exactly.
Preferably the state.
Yeah.
And you're holding on to these things, and they're dictating decisions you're making for your life. You're not going to school for this person or for this organization because they said they're not going to work with your hours.
Yeah, for sure. And then next question is, this is something I was thinking about going to school the other day. I said, is initiative a skill that a man needs to increase his chances of success of coming out of the inner city? And the definition of initiative is the ability to assess and initiate things independently.
Yes, that's very important for you to have, because the one thing we kept making, the lack of mentorship, positive role models. You gotta initiate your own change. You gotta start that. You gotta break the ice and go down or go up, break the ceiling, because nobody else around you is doing it. It's great to have role models and people to follow. Doctor, nurse, mechanic, business owners, plumbers, whatever you got around you. It's great to have a roadmap and stuff to follow. Sometimes you just don't. So your life going to stop because you don't. You know what I mean? Your daddy was a level 1. I'm going to be a level 1. My daddy pushed me to be a level 2. So your destiny at 16 to be maxed out on level 1, So it's great to see somebody move over to level 12, but you don't have that. So you got to initiate that.
Yeah, so, I think you got to find out, like we was talking about bad habits, overcoming the inner city. You got to find out what you naturally will take initiative in, because there are people who will taking initiative on cussing somebody out, going off, but then when it's time to go on the interview, they could barely talk. You know, they nervous. They can't say nothing. They almost froze.
Yeah, but you'll
go right back to the hood.
You'll sing karaoke. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Take the initiative to, do some crazy stuff, but then say, once you just go to school, like, I don't want to do that. I just don't see the point in that. You know what I'm saying? Some dudes take the initiative to start a business. They find out what it takes. They start a business. Some dudes don't. You know what I'm saying? So I think initiative is a big thing, but you got to find out what you're driven in, though. You got to make sure you're driven in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? And pointing in the right direction. But I know sometimes, though, when dealing with people that's older than you, sometimes they like to watch and see would you take the initiative to do something instead of them asking you. And it's like sometimes it could be like a weird mind game. But they don't understand it. It's like
I think it's a form of manipulation. If you got something for somebody, you do it.
Yeah.
Well, I was holding this $100 for you. I was gonna see if you was gonna take the initiative. Okay. Well, okay. Yeah. I had this job. I had the job all lined up for you, waiting for you. You know what I mean? I just needed you to take the initiative. You know what I mean?
And some people like to be brown nosed. I mean, I'm not no brown noser, but there are managers and stuff at a job. It's almost like they like to be brown nosed. You know what I'm saying?
And it was like, I was gonna give you the promotion. All you had to do was just ask me real nice. Like, why you ask you real nice? I gotta basically brown nose you just to get that position, and then you telling me that's all I had to do. But Steve got the position because he just told me how much he appreciated my leadership. Oh, bro, no, I'm not doing that. I'd just rather take my position where I am.
And yeah, man, the last question before we get up out this piece is you just graduated high school. What direction you going in? Trade school, college, or vocation?
I would choose college for the peer experience, the ultimate upside.
Yeah.
For me, and the possibilities to do anything and change in it, meet several people in my career. You can get that from trade school, but trade school is faster and it's kind of more streamlined and direct to the path you want to go. If you want a plumber, be a plumber. You be an electrician. I like the freedom of being kind of your own boss and being a master tradesman in a couple of years. Whether it be electrician, welding, or things like that. I really like that, but it's kind of focused and locked in. And maybe that's too much for me. I would probably try to do it again with youth and resources. I would probably go for the college experience. But trade is a close second. I wouldn't mind being an electrician. You know what I mean? I want to just go to work and die one day.
No, depending on what you're doing though. Like if I was in high school,
I'm reckless. So
if I was in high school, that's only if you like a linesman. But if I was in high school when I was doing the trade school, and I would go to trade school. I would definitely would have been in there because I like side jobs. Number one, I always like doing side hustles, but also being able to work on like new houses, like though when they doing subdivisions, and you just go do the rough end. They give you the diagram, and you just run the electrical wire. Man, I do that kind of stuff I would have done that kind of stuff all day. But you didn't have to pay for it though. You get to work with somebody and they pay for it at the same time.
Now you said after high school, you know what I mean? But like I say, you were talking about like the opportunities, like when your wife, you can get involved in that stuff before.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? So if I was like, I had a couple extra classes, then I can get into that before I left high school, for sure, trade school. But you said like after, we're after
graduated.
I mean, we graduated.
Go to an apprenticeship.
And I hadn't researched anything about the trades, and you know what I mean. I'm 18 years old, and I'm going to transition to college, like which was my first answer. But if I got in a program like your wife was offering, it would be so irresistible to me to go that trade school route. I mean, because I would be confident when I was a child, like, I'm in school and I'm learning this. So when I stepped out in the workforce in the adulthood, I only got X amount of more years to go. That will be some more attainable to me. And I still have the option to go to college after that and really pay for that. So if I started a trade in high school, and if I knew about that information when I was in school, that would help me to make the decision to transition to trade school. So I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. I mean, I would have done it because I think you still got to do an apprenticeship after you graduate, and you got to be like a journeyman for so many years or something like that. But you don't get paid as much if you was licensed, but you still get paid probably like what you making at Walmart. But you actually learning a trade though.
That's the point.
Yeah, so
you got to join the workforce anyway. Being that much kind of better.
Make it count towards
a child. 19 years old, kind of knowing about this, I mean, I would feel my self-worth would be more emotionally going into something, even as a journeyman or apprentice. I'm doing something that's building me, and I'm making a little money. I don't care, you know what I mean, if it's $10 an hour, you know what I mean.
But it's counting towards something, though. That's the thing. It's counting
exactly, and it's building my worth. You know what I mean. My skill set. You know what I mean. Is going to something where I'm working at maybe a retail store, or and that don't give me college credits. Maybe I get tuition reimbursement or a discount on my college. Maybe. Maybe I get health benefits. Maybe. But with this, all the years of experience, because 19 to 24 is so fast. I mean, it's a roll. I mean, boom, you look up, and then being in trade school, I have those years of experience counting up to something. That was paying me while I was getting it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Versus maybe the retail store, I got experience. No matter if I had 20 years of retail experience with no papers, they're going to give me the same. My pay is going to max out no matter where I go. Can go. I got 20 years of experience doing this. Well, we pay $11 an hour.
Yeah, that's the max. People don't realize that it's a hierarchy. You ain't gonna make as much as the manager make.
You paying this person with 1 year experience, 2 years experience, $11. I got 20 years of experience. You paying me the same $11. That's not fair. But that's the way it works, right?
You charge for what you know. You get charged for what you know, and if you say you don't know, you still get charged for what you don't know.
And then you say, I know about this maybe low-level skill. Well, you maxed out this skill, and it only goes this high. With that trade, I'm 24, 25 with 7 years experience in a very specific, high-skilled, high-demand trade. You know what I mean? I can get into my 40s and 50s, thousands, and really start raising my value and doing stuff and getting ready for my second life. You know what I mean? You can hit 30 or 35, and then you want to go to traditional student college route, and you have that financial stability because you've been working in a trade for so long.
And you know what degree to get. You're not gonna get basket weaving. You know what I'm saying? You're probably gonna get like something in business, learning about the back end of business or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
And that's gonna be a lean meat college experience. Because some people take all these fillers, you get a lot of fat on them, classes you don't need because you was curious and stuff you want to do. hey, when you know what you want, the entrepreneurship or the business administration, whatever it is, to grow your trade business, you're gonna get those classes and get up out of there.
So I got a question, right? Before we get up out of here. Jonathan Majors, you know the details coming out, but if a regular dude that happens to a regular guy, is it the same outcome? Like, if a girl, does a girl even care about who texting you when you're a regular dude?
Yeah, they do, but they're not going to go up after. They're not going to tell it to her.
But you're not changing their lifestyle. You're not changing their lifestyle.
At Brenner Center, right? You know, she's probably not going to report it to corporate that, you know, my infidelity or the things I'm saying to her.
Yeah.
You know, that's not going to get her paid, you know.
Right.
And things like that. And, you know, a person posed a question. You can accuse somebody, but like, nobody ever really had lasting damage through a false accusation. Somebody said that, you know, they damaged their career, but some people got jail time for a false accusation. They don't give you that time back. You know what I mean? Hey, you spent 2 years in prison for a false accusation.
There are people in the ground because of false accusations.
You know, he
hit me. He hit me. Brother go kill him. And it come out later, he ain't even touch you. You just mad because he made you mad because he didn't want to buy you the shoes. He didn't want to buy you the jelly sandals. I guess I don't know.
You know, I mean, I know. Look, I respect accusations from men, women, and children. Right. If you're in an abusive relationship, you're hurting somebody's touching somebody's kids.
I think
those accusations should be investigated to the fullest, and that person who making those accusations should be protected. But I think if they're grossly falsely accused, it should be some kind of punishment and possibly some type of reparations to repair. Sometimes, like, you know, a pro athlete loses 2 years of his life, but they cancel him for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you go on TV, they're talking about this accusation. Mm-hmm. But then it comes out 2 years later, those accusations were false. You can't get those 2 years back.
Yeah. And people look at you side-eye too. They're going to look at you side-eye too.
Your athletic ability from the years 25 to 27 are going to be different from 27 up.
Then you got to just vet. You got to vet who you're around, who you let come into your circle too. And it's just crazy, man.
And it's not some like loophole thing where I want to get them signed an NDA and I'm still do this treacherous, predatory behavior. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can't do that because you're going to get caught doing abusing people, or you're going to be in the pain, or you're going to do jail time. You know, just try to be a good person. Try to be a good man, and try to be a good woman best as you can. Let your character speak for itself.
Innocent until proven guilty.
You know, it's not about what you know, is about what you can prove. So,
training day is not what you know, it's what you can prove. All right, guys, we finna sign out. Let us know if you like this podcast. Let us know some things you like to hear.
You got to pick one?
Huh? That was the pick one.
Oh, yeah.
That was the pick one. But yeah, let us know, guys, what you think. We finna get ready to sign out. Anything you want to say when we get up out of here?
No, like, share, subscribe. Peace out, y'all. Love y'all.
Peace.